Hey everybody, Dirty Dan here. Alright everybody, so today we're going to take a look at this Varney Dockside. So this is a 040 Dockside, these are everywhere. This is probably one of the most mass-produced HO scale steam engines ever. And this is, I actually do have one of these, but it's a little different. This one, I believe, is one of the early ones. You can judge that just by the fact of how the pickup's made. It's essentially a single piece of, I'm not actually sure what the material is, but it's a single piece of something. It's an insulated material, and it has two wires coming down that just contact the top of the wheels. It's very crude, but it works. This engine's seen a lot of use. It's definitely done its fair share, but today I want to take it apart. I want to clean it up, refresh it. I'm thinking about maybe we make some new steps, maybe clean up the paint a little bit, especially on the wheels. I want to see if we can get those a little cleaner because they look atrocious, and that, that bothers me. But, so here's a funny thing. Here's three more Docksides, which are, well, essentially all the same. These were all, there were so many of these made, and so many different companies made them. So I wanted to show a few other ones that I had. Now this one, although it looks incredibly similar, this is a Revell 040. I actually did a video on this previously, if you guys want to go check that out. This is a cool little engine. This one was really, really crusty when I got it, and that's why the drivers, they look kind of goofy. But it cleaned up really nice. I really like this little engine. It's cool. But yeah, so that's a Revell Dockside. Here is a Lifelike one. This is one of the earlier ones. This has the open frame motor. The later ones had a big giant can motor stashed in them. I have a couple of those, but this was just the easiest one to show off. This is a Rivarossi Dockside. This is the one with the valve gear. I've had this engine forever. I've also made a video on this one. I absolutely love this engine. The molds actually aren't exactly the same, but I mean, when you look at them, they all follow like the same basic premise, just the top of the cab all looks the same. The domes are all the same. The handrails are different between them though. Like, the Varney one doesn't even, there's no handrails even on this engine. And I think that's because nobody ever just installed them. So maybe we might remedy that. But, by far, my favorite is the Rivarossi. I think the Rivarossi ones look the best. They've always been my favorite. I like the Varney ones, but I think Rivarossi did them better, especially the early ones with the Zamax cylinders. I think they really look sharp. But, this video is not about Rivarossi 040s. So yeah, before we start, let's see if it does anything, see if it's got any movement. I don't have super high hopes because of how crusty this thing is, but we'll see. All right, it's on the track. We got power on. Let's see if it does anything. Oh, yeah. Wow, it's a goer. Doesn't work incredibly well. It's definitely sluggish. Wow, it actually runs. You know what? This thing's actually not as bad as I thought. It's definitely not good, but it's not terrible either. So this will be a fun one. Let's tear this thing apart. Okay, so that was a pretty quick disassembly, and we're at the point where I'm considering maybe we at least remove this old paint. It looks really it looks terrible, especially on the drivers. They're just completely covered in paint, and I really just can't stand to look at it. So I'm gonna get my, paint stripping solution, and I'm gonna see how much of an effect it has on this paint, and if it takes it off. And if it does, then I want to go ahead and move forward with that and take all the paint off this stuff. And I might repaint it this video, might be a later thing, but it'll at least be a step in the right direction for this engine. So let's get to it. All right, so I've tested the top of the cab, and it's been like a couple minutes, and the paint's already starting to come off. So that means the paint should come off the rest of this stuff most easily. So we got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces to do, and that's it. So I'm gonna, you know, get all these in here, cover them with the paint. You know, I use citrus strip. This stuff's great. It's only good for metal though. Don't put this stuff on plastic. You will melt your shell. I'm gonna get this all covered up in that and you know, let it sit for a while. And while we do that, I'll start cleaning up all the hardware and, you know, service the motor and the other odds and ends that need to be done here. All right, so it's been a few hours since I started cleaning up all the parts, and I gotta say, it turned out really nice. I got like 95% of the paint off. There's a couple little spots like inside the cab and a couple spots on the outside, but you really can't tell. It looks pretty fresh, and that's what I was looking for here. I don't think, now there's not holes drilled for the handrails. I thought there was. I think that's gonna have to be a later thing, but you know, I think this would make for a really good, you know, custom project down the line, because it's a very good base. You know, it's pretty close to, it hasn't really been modified. You know, there's only a few small issues like, you know, the steps need to be rectified. That's another thing I'm gonna have to do later. Like the back one actually snapped off, unfortunately. I actually need to figure out a solution for a coupler for this. I haven't, I'm not familiar with whatever's going on here. I've been trying to figure it out for a little while now, but I'm still not totally sure on that. But yeah, I need to make new steps for it eventually. It needs paint, you know. But all of the components did turn out pretty nice. I wish the rods were a little cleaner. You know, I think I could go back and redo these at some point if I really want to. They're pretty clean. They'll do the job. They don't have paint all over them now, which is what I was mainly looking for. The motor is, like, good. This motor is healthy. Like, I was running it, and it's incredible. It's in really good shape. So I'm super pleased about that. So now with all that said and done, let's throw this thing back together and see how it works. Well, here we are. The engine is completely reassembled. And, well, I'm pretty happy with this one. This is definitely one of those projects that's going to need built off of in the future. But, you know, I'm happy to have it just done with for now so I can move on to other stuff. I really do want to revisit this in the future. It's a really neat little custom base. And, you know, if I never get to it, I can always... I may end up selling this engine. I'm not totally sure yet. But it does run pretty well. It's a little noisy. I think the motor could use some adjustment. But it's okay for now. The mesh isn't that bad. It's just really loud. And it makes a fantastic addition to my Varney collection. For those of you who have been watching for a while, probably know about this engine. And have seen it sit in that bay right back there. Well... I'm happy to kind of report that I think I want to get back to this thing relatively soon. I've seen it sit for too long. It's one of those things that I always wanted and I got and I, you know, just didn't get to it. Well, I think it's coming time. This is a pre-war Varney 280. And this is like it was one of my bucket list engines, and I want to paint this up. You know, I want to finish up. I have all the detail components. I have the pilot. You know, I got the original long haul tender that's made all out of brass sheet. So, you know, this is going to come soon. But back to the engine. That's the focus of this video. So, you know, this turned out really nice. Everything cleaned up pretty good. I just want to, you know, fix the steps in the future, put handrails on it, you know, the little odds and ends that make it, you know, a finished model. Maybe even put some decals on it. I'm not sure what we should decal for. If you guys have some suggestions, and if this is really a project that you guys want to see, I think I'll finish it up soon then. But the problem is, we don't exactly have painting weather here in, you know, the north in Pennsylvania. So right now it's kind of difficult to paint stuff unless you're going to brush paint it, which I really don't want to do. I want to do this right. I want to spray paint this and, you know, do it the right way, make it look good. But yeah, so with all that said and done, this is a fun little project. I'm happy with it. And till next time, we move on to the next one. So enjoy some clips of this thing running, and I'll see you guys next time.